Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev Elzia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. We deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. stand in this place of light and love. You can't have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Teresa, Cardenas, practitioner here at CSL Denver. So just if you want to join me in our invocation, if you could just sit in your chairs and get into that special comfort place and close your eyes if it feels comfortable to you. And we do move into that garden space, that secret garden within us that has so many varieties of life, watered by the spiritual essence of who we are and all things that are becoming conscious. We move into that place of celebrating spirit this morning and know that we do so with so many others, whether we're in a mosque or a church or a temple or out in nature itself. And we know that this message comes from that divine through Alzia and through our service this morning as it nurtures and feeds each and every one of us and goes out into the community in that ripple effect. So we bring that home and know right here in the center that with the microcosm and the macrocosm, that we are unified in that spiritual, omniscient energy that is the divine source of all things. And so it is. Our reading this morning is from the Science of Mind magazine. What month is this? February of 21. It's an old one, but I thought this was a really good reading. And it is called No Separation, We Are Love, and it's written by Jennifer Picknick. She wrote an article in this magazine. We are all born from the same essence. What separates us is the content of our thoughts and our level of consciousness. Once we learn to be accountable for how our individual thought patterns create the experiences we have and shape how we live, we can deepen our understanding of this thing called life. We can better recognize how our personal thoughts are what cause the division between you and me and us and them. One thing that unites us is the recognition that we are not our thoughts. While how we experience our thinking is very real, we must learn how thoughts come and go, and our level of awareness of this truth impacts the quality of our lives. When we are one with the moment and stop thinking about our thinking, we can start to shift our focus on what is and away from what isn't. When our thinking becomes more along the lines of calm, we can connect to our heart intelligence and allow feelings of love and compassion to grow. From this sweet truth, connection is born and can extend from within to unite all around. What was once simply an unintentional misuse of our conditioned way of thinking can now be more fully understood and light a new path of inclusion and way of being. Despite what may be happening outside of us, we have a great power within us that is the constant that never divides. This one ingredient is our truth, and anything tarnished does not stem from there. When we love, we are love. And from Ernest Holmes, he says to us from the Living the Science of Mind, I know there is a power for good which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment, to my happiness, to my peace, to my health, and to my success. I know there is a power for good that enables me to help others and to bless the whole world. And so it is. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our music guest today. His name is Jesse Powers. We are very excited to, it's female. We are very excited to introduce her. Jesse, originally hailing from Sumter, South Carolina, is a self-proclaimed joy reminder and touring New Thought musician, now based in Columbus, Ohio. She often shares her music at countrywide spiritual gatherings and in the Unity and Centers for Spiritual Living communities. She is frequently a guest singer with several bands in town, including the famed Columbus Irish group. Sounds fun. The Drowsy Lads. That sounds fun too. She can be seen performing her original music at venues across the country, as well as with Jesse Michael Barr under their duo, Jesse and Jesse. And now with the local Irish American band or group called Bear Bois. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Her song, The Love Song of Everything, was a finalist in the 2021 Great American Song Contest and was nominated for a Positive Music Award in 2022. You can purchase Jesse's music at www.jessepowersmusic.com or go to her Facebook page, Jesse Powers. Welcome, Jesse.
Good morning. Let's all rise up, get out of our heads and into our blessed bodies. These days I've been having trouble waking up. I'd rather stay asleep than try to believe in a higher love. I think I'm fooling everybody else. I say that I know that I'm loved, but I don't, 'cause I'm still punishing myself. See, I've been holding it in, this brilliant lie. They told me it was intimidating, so I've been keeping it inside. But when I woke up this morning, I realized that something this bright is destined to rise. So I gotta rise. I'm gonna rise up from my bed, get into my body and out of my head. I'm letting go of holding on to the notion that something's always wrong. I'm incredible, it's beautiful, this life that I live. So I'm gonna hold my head high like the God that I am, living my life for the wonder that it is. These days I've been having trouble getting mine. Stuck still in a tiny bubble, just watching my life roll by. And I get anxious and I'm afraid of everyone else. But to be honest, it just gets worse when I'm alone with myself. See, I've been holding it back, this power inside, too scared to act. So I live in my mind, but now I see power is in my nature. Just like day comes after night, naturally I gotta rise, I gotta rise. So I'm gonna rise up from my bed, get into my body and out of my head. I'm letting go of holding on to the notion that something's always wrong. I'm incredible, it's beautiful, this life that I live. So I'm gonna hold my head high like the queen that I am, living my life for the wonder that it is. It ain't enough to just believe. No, no, no. Living life is a physical kind of spirituality. It ain't just in the movement of your mind, it's the movement of your feet. It's in the steps that you take. It's the body alive. It's the love that you make. It's the way that you rise. So I'm gonna rise up from my bed, get into my body and out of my head. I'm letting go of holding on to the notion
Good morning. And thank you, Jesse, for that rising song. Man, I tell you, it's so good morning and welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community teaching ancient wisdom and utilizing universal principles to empower our lives and the lives of others. So I want to thank everybody for being here on this 4th of July, this Independence, this Freedom Weekend. And as everyone is celebrating, I think the talk for today and the theme for this month is right in line with Independence or Freedom Day, if you will. And the theme for the month is speaking truth to power. Speaking truth to power. And today we are going to explore this whole idea of reclaiming our disowned selves. Now, what can be more freedom than that? By reclaiming the disowned selves. Now, the whole idea of power, when you hear the word power, it triggers all kinds of emotions, all kinds of ideas about what it is. And I'm here to tell you that power is more than you think it is. And truth is more than you think it is. So when you get ready to reclaim it, I want to advise you, you need to anchor down. You need to get centered. Because it's not this whole idea of what has now, I believe, come to be power, or what the image of power is that is the ability to control and manipulate things, resources, people. Pick one. If I have a lot of money, it's assumed that I have control and that I am powerful. If I'm running a big company with a lot of people, it's assumed that I have power. But we understand that that's not quite the case. And when we look at our society, where we are taught to be splintered and to not be our true selves and to fit into images, there's no wonder the whole world is not disowned or splintered or unable to stand in freedom of who and what they are. Because I want to read this. We have created a disposable, ego-driven, me-first world and spirituality. Being popular is more important than being in touch with the divine. Being accepted is more important than being in touch with the God within you. I'll show up most inauthentic, most mask on, just not to be judged. Because we've allowed ourselves to be put in a position, to be put in a place where we allow other people to define who we should be. And now when we look at the I don't know, pop culture, the TikTok and Instagram and chat and me chat and you chat and everybody's chatting, but ain't nobody talking to the God within. We're talking to all these other things and we're letting them define who we are and what we are. And freedom is the last thing that we have. The last thing that we have. We're controlled by this or that. But when we can reclaim our disowned selves, because the reason that happens is the part of me that gets upset, we disown that because people don't know how to deal with complaints or criticisms. We've lost that ability. So we disown that part of ourselves. We don't know how to stand up and say no. So we've disowned that part of ourselves. And if you take step-by-step look at your life, you will discover that ain't much left for you. Yeah, there's not much left because we've disowned it all. And we've put on this persona. We've put on this mask of what I call toxic positivity. Toxic positivity, where we have to be in this, divine awe moment every second of the day. And we know deep down inside that that's not even possible. It's not even possible. Yet we spend our day, our week, and some of us a whole lifetime trying to manufacture that. We get into this situation where, if you're not affirmed, and trust me, I use affirmations, but I don't need one every day to reaffirm who I am. I need an affirmation maybe when I'm in a low place or when I can't see my way clearly. I can affirm and reclaim all of myself to say deep within me, I know God is there. I know the voice is there. So why don't I just affirm that, even though the situation may call or may seem to call for something totally different? So listen to this. Reclaiming these disowned parts that creates and foster wholeness. This is what it proclaims. Reclaiming the disowned self refers to the process of recognizing and embracing parts of our identity that we have suppressed, denied, or rejected. It involves acknowledging and integrating those aspects to ourselves to promote self-awareness, self-growth. And now, how do these splintered parts happen? Well, happened when you was a baby, started. So it's been with you for a long time. You've had your big brother said, you little, I don't need you hanging around with me. And so now you got a complex. I can't hang anybody, older than me or bigger than me. I got to disown that. Or mama said, stop messing up whatever you're doing, right? And so now I'm scared to do anything. I won't touch anything because I hear mama's voice in the back saying, stop touching everything. And eventually, we lose touch with who we are, who we really are. And in this cauldron, if you will, of confusion, all of our good stuff, the good stuff that God has placed in us, we just, the old saying, we throw it out with the bathwater. We just threw the baby out with the bathwater, and we have no idea of who we are. Now, for those of us who are familiar with Carl Jung and this whole process of life, I'm not even going to try to break him down because he deep, as they say. Ooh, he deep. Because there is so much about the human life, and one of his major things was we have to become self-realized or self-actualized, and there's a slight difference between the two. Self-actualization is more of a Maslow's thing, and self-realization is really, although Jung uses actually, he's more of a self-realization, meaning to realize the power, the presence of God that's in. Whereas in Maslow's actualization, we're trying to reach a goal. We're trying to be, at the top of the pinnacle. But what we really want to do, and which is at the heart of Jung's teachings, that is to come together in unity within ourselves, the unconscious and the conscious, right? That supreme dichotomy. And the ego, although we've allowed it to get out of control, it is a necessary part of who we are. You cannot, if you get away from being an ego or having an ego, I might as well just call you a jellyfish. You just in the ocean of life, allowing the tides and the waves to just call you and move you around. And any way it seems wishing, hoping to do. That's not life. And that's, well, I'll take that back. That is a disowned life. We want to be a fish in the water. We want to have some idea of who we are so we can perform at that level. So when we begin this idea of reclaiming all these parts we just talked about, we have to first, and this might be hard, you got to acknowledge that you've given away your good stuff. To be, no matter how good you think you are right now, I would submit to you that you've given away your good stuff. Now, why do you say that? Because most of us, self included, I am acting and responding and moving in a way to be accepted. To be accepted, to be liked, not to be criticized, not to be judged. And I don't care how many affirmations or how positive I act or any of that. There are moments when I actually know that I'm disowned. I know it when I feel inadequate. I know it when I feel fear. I know it when I go out of my way to get somebody to like me and they still don't like me. Because we disowned our wholeness. And so when we get back to Jung and he talks about the self, in the center, a part of us is this self. And then we have these archetypal parts that also represent the different personalities we have. But it is the unification of all of that. There was a teaching by Hal and Sidra Stone called Voice Dialogue. And that teaching talked about being the conductor of your life, and that you had these various parts of yourself, some owned, some disowned. And as the conductor, as the real self, you conducted and you called in the bad boy or the bad girl when the bad boy or bad girl was needed, because sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you need to tell people, hey, you need to back up, dude. You call in the fun-loving, adventure-seeking part of yourself when you want to expand, when you want to grow, when you really want to get in touch with the wholeness of yourself. Because now we finna step outside the limits. We finna go beyond the bounds of what we think we are or who we thought we were before we went on this adventure. And so when we begin to do that, we really need to find a way to say yes to life. We really need to find a way to say yes to life. And so to do that, the first thing that we have to do is this self-awareness process. Self-awareness process. You have to ask yourself, what is it that I believe? What do I value? And this slide that we have up by Max Planck speaks directly to that. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. So that means you got, what do I believe? What are my values? And then once you've done that, and boy, that could be hard, right? That requires a little bit of surrender. That requires a little bit of being nothing, really. You have to look at yourself in a nothingness state so that you can be open to infinite possibilities. Because as long as I stay stuck in the ego, no matter how many questions I ask, no matter how inquisitive I may seem, it's still coming from the ego, because that's why we have these things called mindfulness and meditation. It's a way of trying to not get rid of the ego, but to just quiet it down for a few, so I can see things clearly. You know, they had that song, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. That's what we're trying to do. See clearly. And so when we do that, we begin to see our values. We see what we believe. And then comes the hard part. You know there's a hard part. You got to walk that walk. Are you walking and talking and living in a way that equals or matches or incongruent or congruent rather with your beliefs and values? If you're doing that, then you're well on your way to getting them disowned parts back together. You know, how many times, you know, especially in the rock and roll business, how many times you've seen that sign or that commercial come up, hey, we're getting the band back together. Right? That's what we got to do when we want to get these disowned pieces. We got to get the band back together. We got to bring all the pieces. As Hal and Sidra said, we got to become the conductor of this life that we have, that we've been blessed with. Now, the second thing we have to do is compassion. We have to have compassion. We didn't want to be disowned. We didn't want to be splintered. So there's no need of judging ourselves. There's no need of condemning ourselves. Let's have compassion. Let's have compassion. Because as this slide says, intuitively we sense that every man and every woman in his native state is some part or manifestation of this eternal principle of oneness, is the principle there. And that the entire problem of limitation and evil and suffering and uncertainty is the results of ignorance. It's the results of ignorance. Because people, let me tell you, there will never be a time, and people, if anyone tells you different, I bet them dollars to donuts that you are going to experience one of these things. One day you will be sad. One day you will label something as evil, which means something that really doesn't sit right with you. It ain't really evil in the sense of the movies and everything, but it's an idea that something has happened in your life that does not sit well with you. Now, if you don't think that's true, I got a bridge I want to sell you. I got a bridge. Matter of fact, I got 2-3 bridges I want to sell you. And so we're saying that to say what? That you have to be compassionate. There's nothing wrong with these things. This is real life. This is what happens when you surrender. Because in the beginning, we remember, I don't care what tradition, it says, God created however you want to frame it. And at the end of it, inevitably, she said, it's good. So the creator of all the things that we see, know, hear, touch, become is good. Why do we call it bad? Why do we label it inadequate? So be compassionate with yourself. That's because we've disowned that part of ourselves that knows the truth. That divine part of ourselves that says, you are a child of the divine energetic force that not only created this world, that created all worlds. All worlds, the world of the ant, the world of the farthest most cosmos. So have compassion. Have compassion. And the last one is Michael Jackson. No, not Michael Jackson. But Michael Jackson had it right. He said, have a look at the man in the mirror. This next one is, are you doing your mirror work? Are you doing your mirror work? Because here is what it says. It says the mirror, this slide right here is important. The mirror reflects back to you the feelings you have about yourself. It makes you immediately aware of where you are resisting and where you are open and flowing. It clearly shows you what thoughts you will need to change if you want to have a joyous, fulfilling life. Now that means, you got to get in your birthday suit now. You can't just stand in the front of the mirror with your suit on and your good tie and your good dress. You got to get in your birthday suit. So you see all the blemishes. So you see all the other times on the cuts and the nicks where you disown yourself and you got yourself in a situation that you couldn't get out of. Do the mirror. If you do the mirror work, you begin to see that these disowned, so to speak, parts of ourselves are necessary parts of ourselves. It's something that we must have, that we must do. Because I'm here to tell you, you do not want to get to the end of the journey, whether that's the journey on a vacation or the journey of your life, and realize that you've missed all the important parts. Because the part that was needed to really enjoy that, you disowned it. You set it aside. You criticized it. And God forbid you were afraid of it. How many are afraid to be the God-given identity that we've been born with? I'm going to raise my hand sometime, because I'll tell you, sometimes I'm scared. But we have to step into it. We have to create the wholeness. We have to create the unity of ourselves. And when that happens, we begin to see life differently. We begin to act differently. We begin to see clearly now, because the rain has gone away. That's our charge. That's what we're here for. That's why we're here. And when you can do that consistently, that means I got to talk my talk and walk my walk. I got to get out of this me idea of life, this me idea of spirituality. The universe don't really care about me. I mean, it does. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not getting fatalistic, but God said, I'm going to give you a job to do. And I'm going to give you everything you need to do it with. And I'm going to give you ample time to figure it out and learn how to do it. Then he comes with the big however. If you fail in your job, I'm just going to get somebody else to do it. I'm patient. I am compassion. I am love. But I got a limit. You know, I own all my stuff. God said, I got every piece intact. And if you get too far out of line, if you get too unsure of yourself, if you get too disorganized, too disenfranchised, I'm going to bless you and send you on your way. Now, that may sound bad, but that's the real truth right there. Somebody else will come and take your place. The stuff that Edison did, anybody could have did it, so to speak. And there were a bunch of people who tried. But he grabbed the hold of something that made him whole to do it. And so if we want to embark on this journey, here's the call to action for this week. Two things. Not too much. Not too much. The first one is we have to meditate and journal about this disowned part of ourselves. And now don't just say you're going to do it. Really do it. Myself included, because I can easily get busy and don't do it. And it don't take a long time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Flow of consciousness. Don't try to, like me, try to correct the grammar and the spelling and all of that stuff while you're trying to have a flow of consciousness. Just write. You can go back and do all that. Microsoft will take care of all that. Just type it in there and Microsoft will do it. But what you concentrated on is getting the ego out the way, getting in touch with the values and beliefs, and ones you are incongruent with and ones you are congruent with. And then just figure out what you're missing, what you're letting go. Because that way you will begin to see differently. You will begin to realize the power, speaking power to truth, you'll begin to realize that. And given what we've had this week in terms of legislative stuff that's going on, boy, we need some real, I'm going to stop. We need some things. How about that? How about we just leave it? We need some things to really get settled in this life of ours. Now, once you've done that, find one thing that's come up and begin to come up with a plan, and not just a plan, but some steps to reclaim that disowned part of yourself. You ain't got to tell nobody. God already knows. That's the only person that counts. That's the only one that counts. But we have to begin to have this kind of approach to life, because if we don't, we will get to the end of our lives and cry. Not a cry of joy, but a cry of disappointment. And so as I conclude and wrap up, I want to give you this quote or poem, or it's part of it, by John of the Cross. John of the Cross said this: to come to enjoy what you have not, or what you have not enjoyed, you must go by a way in which you enjoy not. To come to the knowledge you have not, you must go by a way in which you know not. To come to what you, to come to what be, I messed that up. To come to be what you are not, you must go by a way in which you are not. So in essence, as they say, you got to become the journeyman on the path less traveled. One of my favorite quotes, and anytime you see a bio, it will say, don't go where the path may lead, go where there's no path and leave a trail. That's how you begin to get them disowned parts. And so as we begin to do that this week, this day, we want to have this affirmation, and this is not positive toxic. This is a real affirmation that says, I will accept who I am today and be okay with what makes me different. I will accept who I am today and be okay with what makes me different. And so when we can do that, we can step into the fullness of life. We can regroup and regather those disowned parts, and then we can hit the road because we got the band back together again. Let us pray. So as we take this moment of silent reflection and contemplation, this time where we recognize the power, the presence, the intelligence, and the force in the universe, the real power that controls and upholds and sustains all things. That presence that allows each and every one of us to have movement, to have life, to have joy, to have all these things that we know is a direct reflection of the divine. And so I know right here, right now, for myself and for everyone here and anyone online that may hear this later or that's online right now, that we are awakening to the lifelong journey of infinite possibility, of reuniting ourselves, of coming to a point to where not only are we transformed, but we transcend all of the limitations, all of the doubts, all of the things and traumas that have kept us from truly being able to say, I am a divine representative of God on earth. Where we're clear about our mission, where we know what we know, and we speak that truth to power. Not being afraid, not sacrificing or any of those things that will allow us to be magnificent. And so I declare right here, right now, because of all of that, that today we will step forward in a new way of living. Today we will move forward in a way that allows us to say yes to all aspects of our lives. Just like riding on a roller coaster. You can't go down the hill unless you go up the hill. So we accept the ups and the downs of life, the twists, the turn. And we hold our hands up high to recognize and declare the life, the love that is God. Unified, whole, one. And we do so in freedom. And so I give thanks for this opportunity for each and every one of us to come back to our true self, to reunite the band, to get back together, to be a force in the world to be reckoned with. And so with that, I just release, I let go. I know that this is so because there's a law that's making it be what it be. And so with that, we say, and so it is. Amen, amen, and amen. And so I hope everybody have a real good Freedom and Independence Day. A day where we begin to really recognize and open ourselves up to being whole, to being complete, to being one. And one way that we do that here is we have this sacred time of offering. This time where we begin to first and foremost thank everyone that supports this community, whether it's in time, treasure, or talent. However you do it, we give thanks. Because we know without you, without your support, we wouldn't be here. Let's just be honest. And so we thank you. And so if you look across the bottom of the screen, you'll see the many different ways that you can give. You can give whether it's with your time, whether it's online by going to our website and pushing the donate button, using the text. So you can do text to give or by sending a check or money order to the P.O. box. But however you do it, we appreciate it. And so if you will follow us in our customary way of repeating this affirmation, if you place your hand on your heart, if it feels comfortable, this perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive, and so it is. Amen. And so now we'll have Teresa with a few announcements.
Okay, as we usually mention, if you would like to hear some good news of the world, there's good news out there. To affirm the good in the world, we have a link on our Facebook page called And Now the Good News. This program is put together by New Thought Media Network and airs on Fridays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Or you can watch these anytime during the week. Just go to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver Facebook page and click on any post that says, And Now the Good News. New Thought Media Network has over 40 hours of weekly broadcast programs, including prayer time at 8:15 a.m. and p.m. every day, Wisdom of the Mystics and Finding the Joy in the Journey, along with New Thought Radio, to name only a few. They have also recently added a prayer time in Spanish, as well as 40 Days to Love in both Spanish and English. We invite you to go to ntmedia.org and check out what they have. There's something for everyone. We have older Science of Mind magazines for free on the table next to the fellowship table, and we still have a few copies of the June Science of Mind magazine for sale for $4. We know that as we move through this year and all the experiences that it holds, the Divine Beloved is guiding and loving each and every one of us. We are so happy that we are able to meet in person every Sunday as well as online. Thank you for joining us. Now let's close out with Chris Chickering singing a prayer for who we really are. And please join us for fellowship afterwards. There's some cookies and coffee over there. Thank you.
This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. We are light, we are sunshine, we are what we believe. We are hope, we are promise of everything that's yet to be. We are bliss, we are laughter, we are flowers in the spring. We are life, ever flowing, and these are the words that we will sing. This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. We are strong, we are fearless, we find the comfort in our souls. We are real, we are open to the destiny that's ours to hold. This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. We are here, we are present in every moment that we breathe. We are peace, we are freedom, and this is a song for you and me. Yeah, this is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really. This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. Who we really are. Who we really are.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.